Cooking with Shy and Rach.
I'm Shy and she's Rach,
And we're gonna make a chicken pot pie.
So first what we have to do is cook the chicken. We are going to broil the chicken today.
Broiling is when the top element of the oven is on a very high heat and you cook the food very close to it.
While the chicken is cooking, we are going to prepare our pie crust.
To start off, we're going to mix 2 cups of flour with a teaspoon of salt. You have to mix these together very well.
Now we are going to mix 2/3 cup plus 2 tablespoons of lard into our flour and salt mix. Then we are going to use our pastry blender to cut in the shortening. We cut in the lard to tenderize the pie crust.
Now that the lard is about the size of peas, it is covered with flour, so we will add a tablespoon of water at a time and mix it up. We will do this until we get to about 4 or 5 tablespoons, until the mixture is moist. We must add flour to the pastry board before we put the dough down so it doesn't stick. We also have to add a little flour to the rolling pin. To start rolling, you have to start from the middle and go outward.
Now that we have rolled out the pie crust, we must transfer it from the pastry board to the pie tin.
Because of all the Crisco in the pie crust, we do not need to grease the pan. Now that the pie crust is in the pan, we have to slightly tuck in the corners by pushing down.
Now we must roll out the pie crust top. We will need many different ingredients for the inside of our chicken pot pie. 1/3 cup of flour, 1/4 tablespoon of pepper, 2 cups of mixed vegetables,
a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/3 cup of butter, and a can of chicken broth. In addition to that, we also need a 1/3 cup of onion. To cut the onion, first we have to cut off the bottom. Now using our chef's knife, we cut the onion in half. What the heck? Now I'm going to cut along the grain of the onion with a paring knife. Now that we have cut along the grain, we have to cut this way.
The chicken is now done.
We cook the chicken for about 6 minutes aside.
Now that the chicken is cooked, it is time to dice it. I can now move the chicken from the plate to the cutting board because I made sure to wash the cutting board, which prevents cross-contamination. I am going to take the skin off of the chicken and cut the chicken into slices. Now that we have 2.5 cups of diced chicken, we are ready to add it to the rest of our pie filling.
To start off the filling, we have to melt the butter in a medium saucepan over a medium to high heat. Once the butter is melted, we will add onion. Now that the butter is melted, we will add and saute our onion. Now that the onions are tender, we will add the flour, salt, and pepper. Now that we have mixed all that up, we are going to slowly add the liquids, which are chicken broth and milk.
Now that our liquid has thickened, we are going to add the chicken and vegetables. Now I'm going to preheat the oven to 425.
Now that the mixture is cooked, we're going to spoon it into the crust.
Now we're going to transfer the top pie crust to the filled pie.
Now that we have put the top crust on, we're going to seal and flute.
Now that we are done sealing, we can flute.
Now that we're done fluting, we're going to cut slits in the pie to ventilate it.
Now that the chicken pot pie is complete, we will put it in the oven for 30 to 45 minutes.
The pie is complete. Now it's time to eat.